An outdoor package is included with all CoolBot outdoor walk-in coolers. Use this video only as additional assistance for the installation of your outdoor package. Refer to our installation manual for complete details regarding the installation of the outdoor package. All penetrations on coolers with an outdoor package must go through the side walls. The included items on your outdoor package are a roof membrane, air conditioner hood, door drip, membrane trim, and installation hardware, truss plates, black screws for anchoring truss plates and membrane trim, sheet metal screws for anchoring air conditioner hood and door drip. Align the top edge of the air conditioner hood no more than 1 inch lower than the seam in between the ceiling panel and the wall panel. Make sure it's centered, in position with respect to the air conditioner opening. Screw in place with the self-drilling metal screws. Extend the membrane on the roof of the walk-in with the soft, smooth, semi-glossy textured side up and the fastening tabs down against the ceiling. The membrane should hang at least 6 inches on each side of the cooler. Don't worry if it's too long. It can be trimmed after it's installed. If your cooler has sides that are less than 10 feet in any direction, skip the truss plates installation and proceed to anchor the membrane trim to the sides of the cooler. Forward to the trim installation section of this video. If your cooler has a 10-foot side or longer, you will need to install truss plates to anchor the membrane to the top of the ceiling. This is to prevent excessive warping and flapping of the membrane, which can occur on large surfaces. Locate the fastening tabs on your membrane and ensure they are running parallel to one side and at least 6 inches away from the closest edge. Note that the membrane may only have one fastening tab. Once the membrane is centered on the roof and fastening tabs have been located, fold or roll the membrane back towards the center of the roof so the fastening tabs are exposed. The roll or fold must be parallel to the direction of the fastening tabs. When you reach the first fastening tab, which is the closest to one side of the cooler, stop rolling or folding. Begin by anchoring the truss plates along the fastening tab using the black screws included in the outdoor package. Use a 9/64" drill bit to make pilot holes before driving the screws to anchor the truss plates. Start 6 inches away from the side of the cooler and space your truss plates 12 inches off center. Make sure that the last truss plate installed is at least 6 inches from the cooler edge. Once you roll back the rest of the membrane, it should cover the fastening tab and the truss plates, leaving no exposed screws or penetrations on top of the membrane. If a trim piece is longer than the side of the cooler, the trim can be cut to size using cutting snips. Starting on a side of the cooler parallel to the membrane fastening tab, gently pull down on the membrane with a Sharpie. Make a couple guide marks 4 inches from the top. These marks will be the top edge of the membrane trim. Align the trim's top edge with the guide marks. With the Sharpie, mark the pilot hole on the trim that is closest to the edge of the cooler. Pulling down and making sure the membrane is taut, use a stubby metal 9/64" drill bit to make a pilot hole. Please ensure you do not use a long drill bit. Side pilot holes should not be deeper than 1 inch, just long enough to penetrate the metal sheet of the panel. Using one of the black screws included in the outdoor package, anchor the trim using the first pilot hole. Now, with the trim's top edge held in straight position along the 4-inch marks, proceed to drill and anchor the rest of the trim to that side of the cooler. Ensure that the trim is level and that the membrane is taut as you go. After the first trim piece has been installed, move to the opposite side of the cooler and repeat the same process, always making sure your membrane is pulled taut before anchoring. At the corners, tuck the excess fabric underneath the membrane to create a nice fold. Pull down tight and start securing the membrane to the wall panels, following the same instructions as before. After the membrane has been installed and secured to the sides of the cooler, you can trim with a utility knife the excess fabric below the trim. This will give a cleaner and more professional look. Caulk with silicone the top edge of the trim pieces. A door drip to prevent rainwater from running down into the door gasket is provided. Slightly loosen the screws of the trim that are in the vicinity of the door closer. With the door drip centered above the door, slide the flat side with the V-cut under the trim and above the door closer. The door drip should look like an inverted V above the door. With a Sharpie, make a mark on each side of the wall, 1 to 1.5 inches below the trim. With the drip edge aligned at the marks on each end, mark your pilot holes on the cooler wall. Using a stubby metal 9/64" drill bit, no longer than 1 inch, drill the pilot holes marked on the previous step. Attach the door drip to the frame above the door with the sheet metal screws provided. Retighten the trim screws above the door closer and caulk the joint between the door drip and the wall. Thank you for choosing CoolBot Walk-in Coolers, the most efficient and budget-friendly solution for your cold storage needs. We look forward to serving you for many years to come. Visit us at www.storeitcold.com or contact our amazing support team at support@storeitcold.com.